We're being flooded with information every single day. And I want to talk about the programs that are working because full disclosure, in my day job, I have been doing research on our violence interrupter programs, which I know have been doing such great work. So let's start there, because I know some of the programs that you've talked about, and we've, with national news about crime rates in different cities, about, Democrats running towns like Chicago, being hellscapes. That is not the case. So tell folks a little bit about the violence interrupter programs.
Yeah, really grateful for community violence intervention workers. I put $100 million in our last couple of budgets to support these initiatives, because the best way to solve violence in the city of Chicago is to prevent it. And we have community leaders and some individuals, quite frankly, who have had run-ins with the law and are justice involved, who know these communities, who are building relationships in the very neighborhoods in which, unfortunately, have been historically disinvested in, and that trauma usually begets poverty, and poverty begets violence. And so we have seen, particularly in the 35 most violent beats in the entire city of Chicago, which I identified from the very beginning of my time as mayor, that if we can deploy a strategy, the full force of government, in those particular beats and drive violence down in those 35 most violent beats, we could take that strategy citywide. And what we're seeing is that violent crime is down as a whole in the city of Chicago, particularly homicides, down 30%. Shootings and shooting victims are down nearly 40%. We put forth a robbery strategy a little over a year ago, and we're down 35%. We're seeing greater returns on those investments in those 35 most violent beats. And so it's really attributed to the CVI workers in particular that, quite frankly, have worked hard to make sure that they prevent shootings. And if shootings do take place, that we don't have this perpetual cycle of violence by preventing retaliation. And so a lot of work to be done. Don't get me wrong. One shooting, one homicide is one too many. But we are seeing historic lows. April, the lowest amount of homicides since 1962. Memorial Day weekend, shootings and homicides were down. The lowest and the safest, quite frankly, Memorial Day weekend in almost 20 years. Same thing, even for the 4th of July. The least amount of violence in almost 10 years for 4th of July weekend. Again, a lot of work to be done. It's my top priority, but we are certainly moving in the right direction. And unfortunately, Donald Trump has just snatched $830 million, over $800 million away from violence prevention programs. So it's quite evident that he is certainly not sincere and has been being quite disingenuous about his, effort, if you will, if you even want to refer to it that way, to help support cities. If he was really sincere about helping support our cities, as cities across America that are being led by Democrats, as we drive violence down, if he was really serious, he would restore the over $800 million that he cut from this budget that he literally put into the hands of the ultra-rich.